on that this next week and see what's
Yep.
going on with that. I'm not sure what's happening there.
Oh, and I can work on it with you Friday before we do the assembly on Saturday if you want. I'll be around Friday.
I don't know if I'll have to kind of figure something out because we're going to be traveling Friday for a funeral. So.
Oh. Is it who I think it is?
No, someone else.
Okay. Good. I mean, I didn't mean it that way.
Oh, I know.
Good. I'm glad it was. Yeah, good. Somebody else died. No, I didn't mean it that way, folks. I worked at a funeral home. I got. Never mind. We'll just stop.
But you know what? You know what, though, David? When all the other ones that we've done, I've not had any trouble with it. I don't understand what happens. You know. So.
Special. What can I tell you?
Yeah, I'm not sure here. Let me shut this a little bit. Okay.
Who is the 573 phone number?
That would be me, Jeannie Thaddler.
Okay, so you're tied in on a phone and on the we got somebody that just dialed in. It's a 573 and the last three numbers are 935.
Yeah, that's me. I'm Brandon Grotman from Paris.
Okay. What's the first name again, if you would?
Brandon.
I'm just going to change your name simply so we don't refer to you as a phone number.
Sounds good.
I remember a Bob Seger song a number of years ago. I'm not a number, I'm a man. I've got a name. Okay.
Yeah, that same thing is what happened 2 months ago when we were trying to hook up. So now, do you set up the Zooms like when we do the other night when we had our meeting for Council of Governors? Did you set that one up?
John set that up. He set that one up.
Okay.
I've done all the assembly ones, all of the district conference ones. I did Tom's DLP. Yeah, I've got the master sheet, so to speak, for the district. So
that's what I thought. So I don't know why that doesn't connect. It's so bizarre. Okay. Well, it's just almost 6 o'clock here, so we're going to get started here in just a couple minutes. Okay, I think everybody's is on, or I'm sure we'll have a couple more join us, but I want to go ahead and get started because I want to be sensitive of your time because we want to just allow 45 minutes for the evening. And I know everyone has other schedules and events they need to attend, so, or other Zoom events, I should say. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Again, my name is Margie Sept, and I'm going to be your district governor-elect when you are president in 2021-2022. And so with that in mind, I wanted to make sure that we had some time between now and the time you become president to review and go over some information that you might need that might make your year a little bit smoother. And so, and take a time to get to know each other, and that way we can share ideas and, you know, bounce back and forth ideas, emailing or calling each other over the year as needed. So, but before we begin, I just want to thank David Robinette. He's our IT guy hanging out there. And he is from the Overland Club. And thank him for he's done this second time in a row now that he's done it for me. So I really appreciate him spending his evening there doing the IT work for us. And so I'm gonna let David start and tell us why he decided to join Rotary, and then we'll go through the rest of everyone else.
Two sentences, well, not two sentences, 2 minutes worth at most 30 seconds. I joined the first time, and I'll emphasize that the first time because I was told I had to. I was in a business, the owner said, you need to join. I was a member, you need to be a member. That's not really a reason to join. There's no buy-in. Was with that club for about 2 years. All they wanted was money. I was newly married. Well, we had one child and one child on the way. I had no money. So I dropped out for about 4 or 5 years. Good friend, well, actually about 14 years. A good friend of ours, our kids went to school together, turned to me one night at some conference we were at, and he said, what are you doing Wednesdays? And I said, I told him what I had, and he said, "Can you start a little later and come to the Overland Rotary Club?" That was in about January of 2000, and I joined officially that club in July of 2000 and haven't looked back. Somebody asked.
Cool. Great. Well, thank you. Like I said, and we appreciate you being here tonight working on our behind the scene IT work. So again, I said, my name is Margie Sept, and I joined Rotary almost for the same reason David did, is because my employer wanted me to meet the leaders of the community. So they suggested I become a member of Rotary. And of course, my board of directors, I had one that was a member as well. So I joined Rotary, but the rest is history. I did finally get the buy-in, and I've loved it ever since. So next is we're going to go with Jeanette, and she can tell us the club that you're from, and why you joined Rotary, and then we'll go around the cubicle here and let everybody introduce themselves.
Okay. I'm Jeanette Fadler, and I go by Jeannie, and I'm a Colorado Rotary Club. And as I took a new administrative position and I played the business, we were asked to get involved in the organization, and the Rotary Club aligned with my goals. And also they were meeting right across the street from my business.
That worked out well.
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you. And thanks for joining us tonight. And next we have Rance Thomas.
Yes, I'm from the Forest Rotary Club, and I joined about 10 years ago at the invitation of a friend of mine who served on another board with me as well. And he kept on trying to get me to join, but I couldn't because I was teaching and I couldn't get off during the daytime. Therefore, I waited until about 10 years later, when I finally retired, I decided to become a member because some other my friends were members as well.
Well, good. Glad to have you.
Nice to be here.
Okay, Patty.
I'm a member of the Bowling Green Rotary Club. I joined Rotary because like the service aspect of it for the community, as well as I had a coworker that was a member and had invited me to come.
Welcome. Glad to have you. Okay, we have Dan. Dan Fetch. We'll start with Dan Fetch.
Good evening, everybody. Dan Fetch, St. Charles Noonday Rotary Club. And I think like Rance, I've been in the club probably around 10 years now. Time goes by quickly, can't always keep track, but it was about 10 years ago. And at the time I was thinking seriously about what I wanted to do to try to give back to the community. And a very close friend of mine invited me to a luncheon meeting. And I think about 2 months later, I joined, and I've never looked back and have enjoyed it immensely. It's been a great experience.
Wonderful. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mike Moore. I think you're muted.
Mike Maurer. Good evening, everyone. I'm with the Kennett Club, and I reached retirement age in one career and decided that it was time to do some more public service. And my dad was a lifelong Rotarian. I decided to finally follow in his steps. So here I am.
Well, welcome. Glad to have you. Okay, the other Dan.
This is Dan Feitner. I'm from the Clayton Ladue Rotary. I've been a Rotarian for, I think, about 11 years or so. I actually was, just seeking a way to kind of laser focus my, charitable inclinations and, service. And so I been around for a while. I actually quit and came back as I changed jobs, but that's my story.
We're glad to have you. Okay, let's see, we have Wendy. Wendy Hartman.
I think she's muted.
Yeah, I think she's muted. Okay, we'll move on to, let's see, Brandon.
Yeah, I'm Brandon Grotman. I'm from Paris, Missouri. I've been a Rotary member for about, I think, going on 7 years. And I guess the reason I joined was my grandmother was a banker, and she was in Rotary, and so I always knew about it, through school. And when I came back home to get a job at our local bank, I was asked and was honored to join, just to, be able to meet and mingle and, be able to talk to the, leaders of our community and work on community service and just the general aspect of, community betterment.
Well, great, wonderful. We're glad to have you. Okay, Wendy, are you able to unmute? Wendy Hartman? I think you're still muted, Wendy. There you go.
I'm sorry. So Wendy Hartman with the Union Club, and I've been a member a little over a year in August, and my husband's been a Rotarian since 2009. So I wanted to join him at our club.
Wonderful. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
Now we have Kelsian Emery.
Yes, Kelsina.
Kelsina. Oh, look at there,
yeah.
Little baby.
Yeah, I am in the Ellington Club, and I've been a member for a little over a year. I joined when I was hired on to run the shelter agency in town. So it was a good opportunity for me to get out there and meet some people in the community and, help, just make the community better and provide some different activities and stuff. So I'm excited.
Well, wonderful. Glad to have you. Okay, I think that's everybody on our cube here. And so so we'll go ahead and go on. So the reason, like I said, we wanted to get together was every other month, I just wanted to be able to provide you some information about becoming president. Since things have gone so virtual, I figured this was one way to kind of get together and begin preparing for your year. I think a lot of you probably have had so much experience in Rotary. You probably know more about Rotary than I do at some points here. But so like I said, we're going to meet every other month, and each month I actually have another meeting scheduled for some of the other ones that couldn't make it tonight. So I end up splitting the meeting up a little bit, to also accommodate them. But so as you remember at our last meeting, I had given you some homework to do, and the homework is to try to go to My Rotary and set up your Rotary account. And I don't know if you actually had done that yet, but if you haven't, please do so. And if you need help, please reach out to me. I'd be happy to help you get that account set up, because after you become president, you're gonna want to get in there and do different things. And this way we can kind of start navigating, get you a little familiar with it through My Rotary. So, but if you need help, like I said, call me, email me. We can do a one-on-one over the phone or in person, however you would like to do it. I can Zoom with you to try to get it set up. It's pretty simple to do, but there's a lot of information in there that eventually we'll want to navigate into after you become president. And so the list of the dates for the meetings, for the president-elect meetings, I had put them in an email, and we were going to share them by screen tonight, but we probably won't. We'll probably just wait and, oh, Dave has got them right here.
Yep.
So if you don't have them on your calendar, here are the dates for the rest of the meetings that we're going to have. And like I said, we're going to try to make sure they're productive, so we get through that 45 minutes and try to give you the information that you can use as you become president. So we'll let you write those down for a few minutes. So like I said, the first homework assignment was to set up that My Rotary account. And if you haven't done it, like I said, please let me know and I'd be happy to help you. But in that My Rotary, there's a volume of information. There's all kinds of templates that you can use. A lot of things that I think you'll find very valuable, as opposed to having to recreate it yourself. Because as you know, in Rotary, it's all about R&D. And R&D means rob and duplicate. So there's no reason to have to recreate a lot of these documents, because someone has already done it for you. So you can just use all sorts of things in that system there. That'll be great for you to use for your year. So, okay, next on our agenda was the memorial. Every year at the district conference, we have a memorial for any and all Rotarians that are deceased. So we start out from October 1st of 19, because that's when our last district conference was. So October 1st of 19 and moving forward. So if you happen to know someone in your club that's passed away, or maybe they currently aren't a Rotarian today, but they used to be a long-term Rotarian, but they, backed out of your club for whatever reason, go ahead and send me the obituary information, because we'll still include it in the district conference. So I wanted to make sure you kind of knew that. We've told all the club presidents, but it's one of those things that sometimes people just don't think about when someone's passed away, that they've actually forwarded to Rotary, because we do try to recognize all the Rotarians that has passed away over the year, and acknowledge them, and put a little clip about them on a slideshow with a little information about their bio, maybe their obituary, whatever it might be. So, but like I said, if you have anybody, of anyone just forward me the email or information, and then I'll forward on to the committee that works on that. Okay, next is the acronyms. I sent you a list out in your packet of acronyms of Rotary. And I have to say that when I first became a member of Rotary, I thought that was one thing that was very challenging for me. I felt like I was in German class all over again, and I didn't do very well in German class in high school. And I certainly wasn't doing very well when the Rotarians would talk about all these different acronyms, you know. And so I thought if there was one thing I knew that I wanted to make sure and pass on to everyone was the list of acronyms that I had that I always referenced because of just not knowing what was what, the PEs, the DNGs, the DGEs. It gets a little confusing at times. So I thought that list just might be a quick reference for you of some acronyms that I felt was pertinent for me during my year as president, and hopefully they'll be valuable to you as well. Of course, there's many other lists available out there, but I think those are some of the key acronyms that you'll probably utilize through your Rotary year. So hopefully they'll be useful to you. Okay, so now we have the a few dates I put on the schedule for you, and that is October 3rd. That is this coming Saturday. That's a district fall assembly that they're having, and it's going to cover all sorts of valuable information. If you've never attended one, it's a really a great opportunity to listen in. They do award presentations for Presidential Citation Awards, which will be something that obviously once we get the Presidential Citation information from our international president, then we'll be able to share that with you, and then that'll be the information you can follow. But last year, of course, those presidents that accomplished that award will be getting their awards at that fall assembly, as well as the Century Awards, and there's all kinds of membership plans and information. It's a valuable opportunity to participate and listen in. You got your World Polio Day that they talk about. There's just so much information. It'll be a really valuable hour-and-a-half time frame for you to sit in and listen of ways that maybe you can start thinking about your year and how you can plan ahead. The more you plan now, like I said, the better your year will be, or the smoother maybe your year will be. I think it probably, like we were talking about virtual or in person, but it seems to me that we have to consider both options, virtual and in person, and just try to think. One thing it may just be is trying to keep your clubs, you know, engaged. Are they meeting in person, or are you meeting at all? I mean, my club is starting to meet in person, but it's not been very long that they've been meeting in person. So. And then we have April 23rd and April 24th. That's going to be the district conference. And that's when your current district governor, which is Tom Drennan, will host his virtual conference. And that'll be another inspirational opportunity. Maybe you can get speakers from there or ideas that you may want to utilize for your year. That'll be a very good conference as well. Again, that's going to be free. Then March the 27th will be Show Me Rotary. And that'll be one you'll definitely want to make that a double star to attend. And that will be virtual and potentially hybrid as well. It's not been finalized yet if it's going to be both or how they're going to actually handle it yet. But that is a must attend event. It provides a lot of opportunities for you to learn about things that you may want to utilize during your year, even on the Rotary website, the My Rotary, and then the opportunity to meet other people, get ideas from other incoming presidents. We'll want to set your goals, and as well as your goals for the foundation and your goal for polio. We'll want to do that. And that's kind of why I was wanting you to get your My Rotary account set up. So that way it won't be such a volume of information that you have to do when you start your year. You'll have a lot of these things done already, and you'll just transition right into your year on July 1. So. Okay, another thing we talked about, a reminder was that I wanted you to start thinking about your speakers. I was talking, one of your homework assignments was to start thinking about speakers. And so, you know, you make the list and you scratch it off and you delete people and you add people. But, you know, those are things to think about no matter where you're at, out and about for the day. I mean, you know, even when you're, you know, at work, you can look around and see, is there anybody? Well, I guess you're looking on the computer now. So you're looking around to see who might be a speaker. you know, one speaker that you have is myself, because I'll be coming around as your district governor official visit. So either I'll be doing that virtually or in person. So you have one person for sure, and we'll coordinate dates as the year becomes forward, and then we'll set up dates for, or, you know, get that set up where I can either do it virtually or in person. So you have one speaker, so everybody's got one on the list for next year. But the other thing is like I said, just, you know, it could be somebody from church. I mean, it can be a professional person that you know. Maybe it's something you've always been interested in, but you've just never taken the time to reach out to somebody that can come and be a speaker for you at your club. The other thing is my Rotary provides some opportunities there for speakers. Let's say that you have a speaker that cancels, and we all know that happens. People have speakers that cancel. You can go on My Rotary, and there's all sorts of videos that you can get from there. You can even go to YouTube and get a Rotary video in case you have a speaker that cancels about Rotary, or maybe just something you might want to watch, and just go through YouTube and do it that way. Because you always should have a speaker in your back pocket. So just in case your speaker cancels, you can go have these other options to have a speaker. I always was the backup speaker for my club. I was in the medical field for many years, so they always thought that I could come up with some kind of medical presentation quickly for 15 or 20 minutes to talk about. So, but I always had that information available in case our speaker did cancel. But now there are so many videos available to you through My Rotary and even through YouTube. And so once we have our speaker come, my club tries to give those speakers something. And so before we used to do a coffee mug or something, but we decided that wanted to do something else that was a little different for Rotary. So we end up giving each speaker, we give them a certificate to Life Straws Clean Water Project. We put that in their name, and we've done from $25 to $50. It just depends on how our budget works. So when people talk about giving their guest speakers an item, it can be absolutely anything. It don't have to be that traditional Rotary coffee cup. It don't have to be anything. Just thanking them for being there sometimes is just enough. You don't have to give your speakers anything. But if you feel like you want to do something for some of your speakers, maybe you might want to consider something like that. And these options are all available out there for you. So we just go online and we, you know, sign up. We give that donation in their name. And like I said, our club started doing a $50 donation. We don't do it for all the speakers, but we do it for, you know, a few throughout the year. Those that maybe have a full program compared to others that we don't have a full program for. So once you've got your speaker lined up, I had put a letter together that I had sent you, and it's just basically a confirmation that you've got the speaker. Now you can email that, you can text it, you can mail it, whatever you want to do, revise it, change it, however you want to do it. But this way your speaker is confirmed. There's no confusion. They know if the meeting's in person or it's virtual. They know if they got to pay for their lunch, if they have a special diet, whatever it might be. Then you can request that bio from them so that you can get a little bio. And you can let them know, by the way, that you only want them to talk for 15 minutes or 20 minutes, just like tonight. I only want to be on for 45 minutes because I know everyone else has schedules to follow. And it's the same thing with your speakers. Sometimes they get on that program and they just will not stop talking. And then you leave a little time for questions and answers like you've always done before. So there's some things I put in the letter to make sure that there's no confusion with anybody involved of how long things are going to go on. And the other thing my club does is we give each speaker a Rotary magazine. We give them a new magazine, a current month if we can. And as you know, Rotary's magazine now, the title is Rotary. It used to be called the Rotarian, and now they changed that to Rotary. And I have to say that the speakers that we have just given the magazine to, they love it. I didn't think they would, but they really do like getting the magazine. It's something that they've never had before. And it's basically free because each one of us get a Rotary magazine. So it's very simple to have a few Rotarians bring in a magazine and just have it available. So we do that, and that's gone over really, really well. So that seems to work out about pretty well. But like I said, if you can have a speaker in your back pocket, it will certainly make things a lot smoother for you as you're moving through the year, so that you can, you know, make sure that your club knows that you always have a speaker. And if one cancels, you don't have to really tell them, because you can go right on YouTube and get your Rotary video. Oh, I just changed the schedule today or something, you know. So that way they know you're organized and nothing's ever happened. You know, the speaker really didn't cancel. So, okay. So there's some ideas there for you. And I think I had sent that letter by email and by snail mail. So if you want that in another format, I'd be happy to forward that as well. And probably when I send the minutes out, I can always send that letter again as well. Okay, we're going to move on to board of directors. As you know, your club has a set of board of directors, and it's time for you to start thinking about, do you want to keep the board of directors that you have on your club now, or are you wanting to add or delete somebody that you may want to include? Now, I know like on our board at the Arnold Rotary Club, there's some board members that's been on there literally a lifetime. But we keep them for special reasons. For one, they have a nice, sometimes they support us financially. And so they want to be a board member. So if that's a reason and they want to be on that board and they attend the meetings, we have left them on there. If there's somebody in particular that you think you should add to your list, feel free to do that. But start thinking about who do you want to be on your board. And you're looking at future leaders, future people that's going to be presidents of your club, and that's going to move up into the, through the board of directors seats. So think about who you want, that identify those people that you think will be valuable for your club. I know for our club, we tried to keep that where once you're secretary, then you go to treasurer and you kind of go up the ladder. We have had a few times that's not worked out, that someone had a job change and we had to change positions there. So it's hard for somebody to come in and become president if they've not been vice president or treasurer or secretary sometimes, but it happens in clubs sometimes. That's just what happens. So, but anyway, so start thinking about who you want on your board of directors. And then once we get that, can you get that decided, or you start thinking about that, by the end of November, we'll be confirming your list for 2021. And then, you can send them an email or something just to confirm that they've agreed to be on your board for that year. So, okay. Any questions so far? You guys are all pretty quiet tonight. Okay, well, I want to make sure that you know who the Rotary International president is going to be when you're actually presidents of your club. And like I said, he will be the international president. His name is Shankar, and he is from India. And here is his bio. He's been very actively involved in so many things. And he's done so much for Rotary. He's really involved a lot with Shelter Box. And he also helped with building homes in India when they had the tsunami that happened. 500 homes he helped build. He's a very knowledgeable individual. We've gotten to listen to him a couple of times by Zoom, of course. And but he is from India, and he has visited a lot of different countries, and so he has so much information to share. But one of his missions and goals for 2021-22 is, as you know, we have 1.2 million Rotarians now, and he wants to double that in his year. So he says that if each one of us, each Rotarian brings in one member, then we'll be able to double our membership. So, but that's what his mission is to try to get every one of us to bring in one Rotarian for the year and try to maintain the current membership, and that way we can add more members. But he's very knowledgeable, and we hear from him a couple times between now and July 1 of 2021. So he'll share different information and his mission and goals for us of what he's wanting us to do moving forward in 2021. It's been virtual, and we have met his wife, Rajay. She's been on the call a couple of times as well. And so I think they're both very excited, maybe a little disappointed that they won't be doing much traveling, but I think they're both very excited about representing Rotary International for 2021. So, okay. So your next homework assignment is that I had provided you a copy of that, the Health Awareness Week flyer. And I wanted you to start thinking about how you can implement that during your Rotary year. What can you do in your area to recognize health awareness in some fashion. Never did I think would be coming off of a pandemic and dealing with all of that, and now moving into 2021. So it actually does fit quite well. But being in the medical field, I thought that was an appropriate project to take on, the Health Awareness Week. So it's, you know, you can recognize whomever you want to recognize in your area. As I was saying on the flyer, you may just want to, someone in your club maybe is a nurse or a doctor or maybe a chiropractor or of any profession, a physical therapist, and just have them do a talk during that week. Or maybe you want to recognize a local hospital in your area and do something special for them, or your fireplace EMS system, or there's many of opportunities there. There's urgent cares. A lot of these total accents urgent cares have been doing all these COVID tests. Maybe you want to do something for them. Maybe invite them in for lunch and give them a free lunch that particular week. And hopefully by then we'll be meeting maybe in person, that you could do something like that. But just wanted you to start thinking about, what can I do in my area for Health Awareness Week, whatever that might be. Maybe you want to have the local EMS agency or someone. Maybe you want to do blood pressures maybe at your club that particular week, or whatever it might be, a talk, an Alzheimer's talk from a center, or someone to come in and talk about seizures or diabetes, or whatever that might be. Your local hospital, you may know someone at your local hospital that you can just have come in as well. But it truly is a wide open opportunity of whatever might fit your needs in your area. And then just either take a photograph or send me a text or an email of what you've done, and I'm going to put that all together of you know, everything that was actually occurred during that particular week, to see what all had happened out in our District 6060. So, but I thought that went quite well coming off of the pandemic. I thought how smoothly that's going to transition right into to our years. So. Okay, assistant governors. I wanted to mention, again, this is an AG. I didn't know if you were familiar with assistant governors. I would think you are, being in Rotary. But assistant governors is someone that is there to help you. I know there's always been a misinterpretation of what their actual tasks are, but they are there to assist you through your year and help you, just like myself. I'm here to assist and aid you, whatever you might need for your club. I'm here to help you in 2021 and 2022. And the assistant governors are the same way. So if you're needing ideas about something, maybe you want them just to come in to, you know, to talk about something. Maybe you need help with, maybe your membership chair wants them to come in and talk. It's whatever you might need, but the assistant governors are really there to help you. Sometimes they come in and sit in on a board meeting, and that seems to cause some confusion with people, but really they're just there to aid and assist whatever your club might need. And each assistant governor usually has 3 or 4 clubs that they're assigned to kind of stay in touch with the various presidents. Or maybe there's something going on that we need the club presidents to do, so they may give you a call and kind of nudge you along the way. For example, if you haven't got your goals entered, or maybe you haven't put in your, you know, you haven't got something set up in My Rotary, then they might try to nudge you a little bit to get that moving along. But they are very, very useful. And each one of you will, you know, we'll make sure that you know who your assistant governor is. So, you know, so that we can meet and everyone get to know each other for your year, so that it will assist you with whatever might come across your plate during that time frame. Have any of you had any interaction with assistant governors at all?
No.
No? Okay. I know there's a few areas that we need assistant governors that we're out seeking out, trying to fill a couple of positions that we have open. And so I know we're working on that aggressively, trying to get that filled. So. Okay, and then one of your other homework assignments is that potentially to reach out to Bill Dees. He would be a great person that could be a speaker for you for membership. He's our membership chair. And if you haven't done that, you can let your club president know that, and maybe they might be interested in having him get on Zoom, because he's readily available now being on Zoom, and he can give a presentation for you about membership. He's got a lot of interesting ideas, new ideas, and is just trying to get the message out of how we can, increase our membership in ways that you can develop programs to increase the membership in your area.
Margie, what's his last name again?
It's Dees, D-E-E-S, Bill Dees.
Thank you.
Let's see, I believe. I was going to give you his phone number, but I had to switch locations here with my computer, so.
I'll pull it up in just a minute for you.
Oh, okay, okay.
Did you send information on those issues out to us?
I'm sorry?
Did you send information to us on those issues you talk about? Did you send something to us about those issues you talked about?
With Bill Dees, you mean?
Bill Dees and also the other issues that you talked about.
Oh, yes, okay. So Bill Dees, like I said, he can do a presentation for you. Here David's going to put it in the chat for us. And he can do a presentation for you for 15, 20 minutes. You just got to remember, when you're inviting a speaker, it's up to you as the club president. You decide how long the speaker is going to speak, and try to make so if you only want them to speak 15 or 20 minutes, and that's what you should tell them, because sometimes it seems like that some speakers can go quite a long time. So so we want to kind of keep that in check, including myself. So I got my clock here, so I know at 6:45 we're going to be finished. So something that moving on for our next meeting, which would be in November, because we're in September, so we skipped October. So our next meeting would be in November. And David put the information in the chat for you there. So if everybody's got that, a Bill Dees there for you. So in our next meeting, I want you to think about what your elevator speech is for Rotary. And I'll try to give you a couple examples next time as well. What is your elevator speech? You only want it to be a couple of lines, but when someone comes up to you and says, "What is Rotary?" are you able to actually explain it very quickly in 2 or 3 sentences? And so I started wearing my Rotary pin because someone by the name of David Robinette said, I always see him wear his pin that says Rotary. And so I thought, well, that's kind of interesting. So I started wearing my pin a little more than usual. And you would be very surprised, but people will ask me, what's Rotary? So then I'm like, I got to have an elevator speech. I'm going to be district governor. I got to have an elevator speech. So, anyway, I think you'll find that when you wear a pin that says Rotary or anything, people start asking what that is or what is it. We went to London last year, and I had a tag on my carry-on that was a Rotary tag. It was a nice cushiony little tag that I had put on there so I could find my suitcase easily. And it was constantly, somebody was asking, what is Rotary? What is Rotary? Well, I only know what Rotary is in one language. So when you're traveling around Europe, it's in several languages. But so that was just one thing I thought was very interesting. I never thought that many people would ask me what Rotary is just by wearing a little magnetic pin has Rotary, the word Rotary on it. So, but for your homework, try to think of an elevator speech, and we'll kind of go over them and try to work something out for you. I'll make sure and kind of send you a couple of examples. But like I said, a lot of you have been in Rotary for a long time, so I'm sure you've got something already off the top of your head that you're going to be willing to share with others on the call.
Margie, can I jump in for 30 seconds?
Sure.
Cheap shameless plug that actually ties into what you were just talking about. I have done at both the Seoul Korea Convention and the Atlanta Convention. I did a breakout on storytelling and Rotary. I've also done that via Zoom for several clubs in India. I've done it in person in various other places, including London. I was not with Margie. It was not the same trip, but I did it in several places too. I've modified a 1-hour presentation down to about 20, 25 minutes. If your club is looking for a speaker virtually, if you're meeting in person, I will tie in virtually, but otherwise we can all do it virtually. I will be happy to do it. It somewhat answers that elevator speech because everybody has a story about Rotary. You may not know it. And that's what the title is, The Story of Rotary is Your Story. And it's not Rotary is 1.2 million members, blah, blah, and so on and so forth. You'll have to hear the rest of it to know.
Good idea. That's great. Yeah, everybody has a Rotary speech, or the Rotary story. So So anyway, so that's part of your homework. And then the other thing is I want you to start thinking about what are your goals as president? Why did you want to become president? Did somebody just tap you on the shoulder and say, you're it for this year? But what are your goals? Maybe you got a special speaker that you're wanting to have come in. Or maybe you just want to keep the club alive because of all this going on with Zoom and having to be virtual. Maybe you're just trying to keep your club alive and keep them engaged a little bit. But maybe you got a special goal in mind. When I was president, my goal was going to be that I wanted to make sure that we celebrated all the holidays. So every single holiday, Easter, Christmas, Thanksgiving, every holiday we celebrate at my club. So Christmas, we had Christmas carolers come in. We all wore holiday Santa hats and we all sang Christmas carols. Thanksgiving, some local kids came in and made it. We had like a little Thanksgiving meal. They made all kinds of little Thanksgiving treats for us. I just wanted to bring all the holidays in and try to get everyone engaged in, you know, the events of what was going on for that particular month or year or whatever it was. So, but everyone's got their own ideas of what they want to do with Rotary. And, you know, as me becoming district governor, everyone says, well, what is your goal? Quite frankly, my goal is just that I just hope at the end of the year, you know, that we're all engaged, we all have become friends, and we've added some Rotarians, but mainly that we just all had a great year and had fun and enjoyed the year. That's what I'm trying to do for my year as a district governor. And hopefully it'll be a successful year and everyone will stay engaged and we'll have a few new members and we're going to meet some incredible people along the way. And I've already learned so much already starting my district governor training. So, okay, with that, does anybody have any questions? We're at 6:41 and I know everyone's got other things going on this evening. So if you have any questions, we'll try to answer those yet before we go.
Hey, Margie, this is Dan. Getting back to speakers, does your club have speakers scheduled by the president, or do you have a program director?
This particular year, we have a program director, and previous years, it kind of goes back and forth. Either the president does it or we have a program director. We've done it both ways.
Okay.
Yeah.
Our club has always had a program director, and actually I fulfilled that responsibility for the last 2 Rotary years. And I had a schedule that I kind of put together, made up, because obviously you're trying to schedule speakers sometimes 6, 8, 10 weeks in advance.
Right.
And the current program director that took over for me called me the other night to tell me how helpful the schedule was. So if you don't mind, I'll just email it to you. It's got another tab. The other tab also lists all the speakers, who they are, what they do, contact information, so that if anybody in the future wanted to go back and then list those speakers either for Rotary or for another organization, they had them there. So I'll send you what I had for the last couple of years, and somebody might find it of use.
That's wonderful. Absolutely. We'll share it with everybody. They'd love it. Yeah. Because people do kind of has been emailing me about speakers. And so it is nice to have, you know, somewhere to pull from. But there's so much valuable now because of being virtual. The speakers are endless. I mean, you can get speakers from all over the world basically now. So, okay. Anybody else got any questions? David, any last minute words?
Not from me. I had to remember which one I had muted. When you have 3 mute switches, you have to remember which one it is. Dan, I'm going to address yours for a second real quick. You had said about speakers director. We do the same thing. I'm playing that role with our club this year, but we assign each member in alphabetical order. Each one has a week. So the coordinator coordinates, literally, to make sure everybody's finding their own speakers and then has one in your back pocket just in case. So you're not stuck finding 52-ish, 50, 52, whatever it might be. You are, like we are, a morning club. Anybody that's a morning club, we learned real quickly, if you tell them it's 7 in the morning, you get a no right away. We ask them to come to the club. We ask them to present. We tell them it's on a Wednesday. Oh, that'd be wonderful. Then we tell them what time it is. Everything is in the delivery. And it makes a difference, really makes a difference all the way around.
Well, actually, Dave, our club is a noonday lunch hour club.
I thought you were sunrise. I'm sorry.
No, we're a noonday, and so it's a little bit easier to get people to come for lunch and do a 20-minute talk. So.
Yep.
Our club is at lunch too, so we don't have any trouble usually getting speakers because it is at lunch. But you know,
7 a.m. is a whole different story, folks.
I'm
yes,
sure
it is.
I'm sure it is.
Anybody else have any questions or anything?
Great
Mike?
job. Great information.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, hopefully, like I said, then we'll do another one in November. And the idea is to try to just get you some information out that, you know, each time, and you'll always have homework. But most of the homework you can do when you're laying in bed. It's all about thinking and getting prepared for your year. So there won't be an extensive amount of homework that you have to actually write out and send in as a homework assignment. So, but anyway, thanks again for everybody being here. And we'll look forward to seeing you in November.
Thanks.
If you have any questions, email
Bye,
me.
everybody. Bye.
Y'all take care.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.